Well, the Pope says people who choose to have pets instead of children are selfish. Here's part of what he told the Vatican. Today, we see a form of selfishness. We see that some people do not want to have a child. Sometimes they have one, and that's it, but they have dogs and cats that take the place of children. This may make people laugh, but it is a reality. Well, what about those who, for medical reasons, can't have kids? Try to adopt, said the pontiff. Why go to the trouble of having them at all? Because if you don't, said the Holy Father, you'll be a less fully rounded human being. Pets are straightforward, kids are not. Do without them and we are diminished individually, but also collectively, he said. Europe, he claimed, is heading for a demographic winter where folk, if they want children at all, stick on one. Well, the idea of an unmarried, childless, 85-year-old telling the young to have kids will be sufficiently ironic for many to dismiss this Franciscan intervention. And by making the point about pets, he invites not just a shrug of the shoulders, but a scowl of contempt. Why do I say that? Because in my months at GBNews, the strongest reaction to anything I've said in these monologues was when I argued that we were wrong to put the rights of animals ahead of our fellow humans. These were the humans I had in mind, Afghan translators and their families trying to flee the Taliban in Kabul, as Britain organised a flight to evacuate stray dogs. It didn't matter to my critics that I am, in fact, a pet lover. Home is filled with cats and dogs. A decade ago, I fulfilled a lifelong dream, bought a horse, rode most days, fell off a lot, shoveled plenty of muck, and wept tears that would have embarrassed a lovelorn teenager when his last day came. But at the risk of inviting more contempt, let me say this. I think Francis is right. I don't agree with every papal edict, even if I am a Catholic, but on this, in my view, he rightly touches a raw nerve. Even now, there will be those of you normally aligned with my worldview who will be sharpening the poison pen. And I worry that before I shuffle off this mortal coil, the fury you feel will lead us to a strange place where calling into question the decision of some people not to have children will be a kind of hate speech, where elective childlessness will become a kind of protected characteristic under the law. I wish churches other than mine would remind people of what I consider to be an immutable truth, that having children, if you can, is something that ought to be celebrated and, yes, even encouraged. Not just because the West faces an epidemic of empty cradles that will nullify our welfare state, by the way, but because I believe that in most cases having children makes us better citizens. Francis understands that parenthood is transformative in a way that having a dog or a cat is not. That's the Brazier angle.